Bitcoin has been pumping for the last few weeks now. And Bitcoin is breaking through this huge important resistance on the daily time frame. So of course this is looking very bullish for Bitcoin. And in this video I will discuss everything you need to know for Bitcoin in the coming week. Yesterday we had a lot of interesting bullish inflows into the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs. There is a lot of interesting data coming into the market, which I will discuss with you of course in this video. I will also have a look at the two altcoins Ethereum and Fetch AI, but about that later in the video. So if you want to be updated about everything what is coming for Bitcoin and the crypto in the coming week, watch this video all the way to the end, like the video, and let's dive right into the charts. If we have a look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, we can see this beautiful run up and then a consolidation inside of this rising channel. And we saw a breakout to the top side, and we saw also a retest of the resistance to turn it into support, and from there we are aiming for higher targets. And this looks a little bit like a bull flag formation, which is breaking to the top side. So this is looking very beautiful for Bitcoin of course. But in the coming days we could also potentially come back to this resistance area again, retest it as support another time, and then again aim for higher targets. But of course we are seeing a lot of upside momentum for Bitcoin lately, and we could also potentially see a little bit of a decline because a lot of interesting levels hasn't been retested as support yet. So we could also potentially in the next week see a little bit of a retracement back to these levels to test it as support. But for now we are still in this huge uptrend, and this is beautiful to see. So as I'm always saying, you have to trade with the trend, and the trend is currently up. But once we are seeing an invalidation of the uptrend, we can confirm the downtrend. But for now, we are still in this big uptrend. And yesterday, the Bitcoin ETFs had one of their most interesting bullish days of all time since the start of the ETFs. We saw 494.4 million inflows of the Bitcoin ETF. So this is insane to see, of course. And especially BlackRock, Fidelity and the ARK Invest Bitcoin ETF are buying like crazy. And this is exactly what we want to see for the Bitcoin ETFs. And this is pushing the price of Bitcoin up. And as I'm always telling with you, we are now seeing this spike to the top side for the fourth time. Because in the past we saw a huge spike since the beginning. Then we saw a consolidation, another spike to the top side, another consolidation, and then a third spike. And now we are going to see this fourth spike to the top side. And we are close to getting to this $20 billion mark in total cumulative inflows. So this is looking very bullish for Bitcoin of course. And these inflows are pushing up the price for Bitcoin and are creating a lot of buying pressure. So this week we only saw bullish inflows for the Bitcoin ETF. So let's see what the next week will bring us for Bitcoin. And earlier this week, Bitcoin broke the most important resistance on the daily time frame around the $64,000, and we saw a beautiful gain of this level. And also in the past we saw a lot of interaction of this level because this is a very strong level. So for now we are gaining this level and we see beautiful confirmation of the breakout. We could expect a little bit of retracement back to this level of the $64,000 to test it as support, and from here we could continue the healthy uptrend. And this would be very healthy price action. So if next week we're going to see a retracement back to the $64,000, don't panic, but you have to be buying at these levels because this could be turned into support after this resistance. And from there you can enter the market in the long and aim for higher prices. And the next big resistance for Bitcoin on the daily time frame will be around this level, and it will be confluent with the $68,000. Because in the past we can also see a lot of price interactions happening with this level, so this could be a very interesting resistance level for Bitcoin to break. And if Bitcoin can come to this level, this will be the next make or break point. So we are either going to see a break of this level or we are going to see a big rejection. But for now, we are in this beautiful uptrend to the top side. So let's see what Bitcoin can bring us in the coming week. And after the big pumps of the last weeks, Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is now back in greed. And last month we saw stages of fear. And as I'm always saying, you want to be buying in stages of fear because everyone is panicking right then. And now we are back in the stages of greed after a big pump. And if Bitcoin is trading in stages of fear, you want to be buying because eventually we always will go back to stages of greed. And now we are back in the stages of greed, and you can maybe take some profits if you're bought at these lows. And I've been warning you that I've been buying Bitcoin like crazy at these lower side support regions. And every time we touch this region, we saw a beautiful bounce to the top side. So if you bought at these 52,000 low, we are already up for a lot of gains. So if you bought at this level, you're already up for 25%. So this is also a very interesting place to maybe take some profits in on your Bitcoin investments. And as I was saying, Bitcoin broke this beautiful resistance to the top side and we are now creating a higher high on the daily chart. So this is looking very bullish, and this was the previous high that we needed to gain to see a huge Bitcoin trend reversal on the daily time frame. And this is now exactly what we are seeing. And of course there are a lot of interesting other highs we need to gain, but first this previous high was gained and now we maybe can see a higher low from this level, see a higher high again, and of course we want to also gain these previous highs and then we can aim for a new all-time high. And of course this is looking very bullish for Bitcoin, and this indicates a big trend reversal for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And if we have a look at Bitcoin on this daily time frame, we can see this downward sloping support trend line was holding up strong. And every time we came to these lows, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index was in huge fear. And every time we touched this level, I've been buying Bitcoin like crazy, just like I warned you on my socials. And now we're seeing a next big spike to the top side. But of course, there are also a lot of interesting resistance areas coming into play. And if we're going to gain these areas, it could be very bullish for Bitcoin, of course. And these are the big next resistance areas for Bitcoin to break. So if Bitcoin is coming back to these levels, we can expect a little bit of price interaction of these levels. And of course, if we're going to see a gain of this level and see new highs, then we can create new all-time highs in the coming months. So for now, we are seeing this beautiful bullish trend reversal for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. So these yellow lines are the big resistance for Bitcoin to break. And also this Bitcoin bull flag is very interesting to look at. We saw this beautiful run up from the bear market lows, and now we are seeing a big consolidation since the beginning of March of 2024. And if we're going to see a breakout of this formation, the $180,000 will be the breakout target for Bitcoin. So that is insane, of course. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Ethereum. I've been discussing Ethereum in the last few weeks on my socials. And I've been discussing that at these lows you should be buying more Ethereum, just like I did. And now we're coming back to this huge resistance around the $2,600. But yesterday we saw a little bit of a gain of this level. So let's see if Ethereum can maybe push a little bit further and confirm the breakout. And if we're going to see a gain, we could potentially see a retest of the previous resistance to turn it into support. And then we can aim for higher levels and then come back to the next big resistance. And the next big resistance will be around this level, and it will be confluent with the $2,900. But for now, we have to see a clear gain of this level, because we are now seeing a little bit of a rejection still coming into the market. And if we're going to see a confirmation of the breakout, I expect that we will bump to the $2,900. But of course, we can also see a potential bearish scenario play out, and that we're going to eventually see a rejection of this level. And then we have to come back for lower prices, and that will be around the $2,400. And yesterday we also saw a very bullish day for the Ethereum ETFs. We saw actually a very bullish week, because there's a lot of bullish inflows in this week. And yesterday we saw an inflow of $58.7 million. So this is insane, of course. And especially BlackRock and Fidelity were buying like crazy. And this is exactly what we want to see. So let's see if we can continue this bullish streak of inflows. And this will only push up the price for Ethereum even more. And if we then have a look at the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, I was discussing this downward sloping trendline resistance with you, and this price was eventually getting squeezed into this apex, because we also saw on the lower side the support coming into play. And we broke bullish, and we retested previous trendline resistance as support, and from there we saw higher targets. And if you bought at this bullish retest, we are already up for almost 19%, so this is insane, of course, and I've been warning you about this potential Ethereum trade with you on my socials. So congratulations if you took this trade together with me. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Fetch AI. I've also been monitoring Fetch AI since we were in this huge falling wedge formation. And when we were at this huge horizontal support level, I've been buying Fetch AI like crazy, because we saw a huge breakout of this huge falling wedge formation on the daily time frame. And this was a very bullish break, as we can see. And we also saw a beautiful gain of these horizontal resistance areas. So for now, we are also breaking this horizontal resistance area, and we could potentially see a throwback to this level and retest this resistance as support, and then aim for higher levels. And we can now see that Fetch AI is in this beautiful uptrend to the top side. So this is looking very beautiful to see. But of course, there are also a lot of interesting horizontal resistance areas coming into play. And currently we are at this big resistance, as we can see, multiple touch points in the past as resistance as support. And now we are seeing that the resistance is coming into play. So of course we could also see a little bit of a retracement back to this previous resistance to turn it into support, and then continue the uptrend to the top side. And the breakout target of this falling wedge formation will be confluent with the top side of the formation, and that will still be around the $3.25. So this is still a huge breakout to make for Fetch. And let me know in the comments if you still hold Fetch AI in your portfolio, and if you also did buy FET in this lower side region. Please give a like if you find this video useful. Follow me on my socials, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.